was a good wife, or so I thought, until the night my husband's best friend caught me in the heat of my own desperation, tangled in sheets chasing a release my marriage hadn't given me in months. What happened next burned itself into my soul, a scar I can't wash away. This is my confession, raw and jagged, laid bare for you to judge. I never meant to cheat. I swore it to myself night after night, staring at the cracked plaster ceiling of our Chicago brownstone. But the truth is, I did. And it all started when Daniel, my husband's best friend, 24 years old, walked into my bedroom and saw me at my weakest. That night shifted the earth beneath me. It was late, the kind of late where the world feels too quiet. My husband, Michael, was asleep beside me, snoring like a freight train, oblivious as always. I turned away from him, my body aching in ways he hadn't touched in ages. I tried to ignore it, to shove it down, but the hunger was too loud. So I did what any lonely wife might do. I reached into the nightstand, pulled out my secret toy, and let it hum to life. The sound was my first mistake. I bit my lip to stay quiet, but a soft moan slipped out, a traitor in the dark. That's when I heard it, the creak of the bedroom door. My heart stopped. Not Michael, worse. Daniel, standing in the doorway, his eyes locked on me, on the curve of my thighs beneath the twisted sheets. I should have screamed, should have yanked the covers up, but I didn't. Because he didn't look shocked. He looked ravenous. We froze, locked in a 5-second eternity, neither of us moving. Then, in a voice so low it sent ice down my spine, he said, "Need a hand?" I could have said no. Every fiber of me knew it was wrong. But the way he looked at me like I was something to devour stirred a fire I couldn't douse. I should have said no. I meant to. But as he stepped closer, I didn't stop him. What we did next would make your blood run cold. I told him to leave, but my body begged him to stay. I took a shaky breath, and that's how it began. The first touch was electric. Daniel didn't move at first, just stood there, one hand gripping the doorknob, his eyes burning into me. I could see his chest rising fast under his tight white tee. "Close the door," I whispered, my voice trembling. I meant to say get out, but my mouth betrayed me. The door clicked shut. 5 steps changed everything. Step 1, Daniel moved closer, the floorboards groaning under his weight. My pulse thundered in my ears. Step 2, he knelt by the bed, close enough for me to smell his cologne, sharp, warm, dangerous. Step 3, his fingers grazed the inside of my thigh. "You're shaking," he murmured. Step 4. The toy slipped from my hand, hitting the carpet with a dull thud. Step 5. His lips brushed my ear, sending a jolt through me. As I reached for the toy, he slid his own forceful, pulsing energy into the moment, replacing it. "God, it's intense," I gasped. His mouth was fire, his hands rougher than Michael's ever were. When he pushed me back against the pillows, I couldn't breathe. His breath was hot on my neck. "Don't wake him," he growled. The danger should have killed the mood. It didn't. After Daniel stood, adjusted his jeans, and walked out without a word, I lay there staring at the ceiling, Michael snoring beside me. 3 thoughts clawed at me. What the hell did we just do? This can never happen again. When will it happen again? Later that night, my phone buzzed. "Daniel, 3:17 a.m., my room tomorrow afternoon." I read it a dozen times, my thumb hovering over delete. I typed no. Instead, I sent "doors locked." I knew it was wrong. So why did I keep going back? The first time I lied to Michael's face, I nearly vomited. By the 5th, it was easy. Cheater. That's what I called myself. The first time I stepped into Daniel's room, it reeked of cheap cologne and sweat. The lock clicked behind me. "You came," he said, like he'd won a prize. My hands shook as I unbuttoned my blouse. "We can't keep doing this," I said. He laughed, pulling me onto the bed. Then why are you here? I had no answer. The first lie to Michael came when his keys jingled at the front door. I was in the kitchen reheating leftovers, my thighs still sticky with guilt. "Smells good," he said, kissing my cheek. I flinched. "You okay?" he asked. I lied, said I was tired, then scrubbed Daniel's scent off my skin in the shower. The water scalded, but it wasn't enough. We broke every rule. 1, no kissing. That shattered on day 3. 2, only one place, one act. That broke in week 2. Riskier meant hotter. 3, no feelings. "You're mine now," Daniel growled in my ear. I should have stopped then. I didn't. The worst moment was when Michael came home early and found Daniel's tea in the laundry. "Since when do you wear men's larges?" he joked. My laugh sounded like breaking glass. "Must have mixed up at the gym," I said. That night I cried in the tub. Daniel texted, "Stop feeling guilty. He doesn't deserve you." I almost believed him. Then the test came back positive. 2 pink lines. I stared at the stick, counting weeks. Michael and I hadn't. But Daniel and I had in the bathroom, reckless and raw. A knock at the door. "Clara, you okay?" Michael called. "Fine," I chirped, flushing the evidence. My reflection wavered. "You're screwed." I thought the affair would ruin my marriage. The baby was what broke me. It ended when Daniel pulled a gun. Michael knew something was wrong the moment he saw my face. "You're pale," he said, touching my forehead. "Sick. Just tired," I stammered. Then Daniel strolled in shirtless, my teeth marks still on his shoulder. Michael saw them. 3 seconds ended my marriage. 1, Michael's face went blank. 2, Daniel smirked. 3, I sobbed. "How long?" Michael whispered. The fridge hummed. Daniel answered for me. "Since the night you passed out early at her birthday party." Michael's fist cracked Daniel's jaw before I could blink. Blood dripped from Daniel's lip as he laughed. "She moans louder for me." Michael turned to me, trembling. "Him or me, choose." Daniel grabbed my wrist. "Tell him the truth. You're mine." I looked at the man I'd loved for 12 years, then at the 24-year-old who'd wrecked me. "I need time," I said. Michael threw his wedding ring at my feet. "You just chose." I packed a bag, no destination, just away. The motel smelled of cigarettes and bleach. I was sobbing into my hands when a knock came. Daniel stood there, eyes wild, gun tucked in his waistband. "You don't get to leave me," he said softly. His hand brushed my stomach. The 3 of us, family. The gun gleamed under the motel's dim light. I thought of the baby Michael's broken face, how easy it'd be for Daniel to own me forever. Then I kicked over the lamp and ran. 6 months later, I gave birth in a small Ohio town. Michael divorced me without a glance. Daniel sent letters. I didn't open them, but sometimes I wondered what if I'd stayed. I thought running would save me until I heard his voice again. A baby's cry. A knock at the door. My breath caught. That's when the real nightmare began. The safe house, or so I thought. 6 months after fleeing, I lived in a tiny apartment under a fake name, Emma Hayes, a math teacher paid in cash. No social media. My daughter Sophie was my only light, but every time she smiled, I saw Daniel's smirk. Then, on a rainy Tuesday, the grocery clerk said Clara, and my blood froze. It was Mia, Daniel's cousin. That night, my burner phone rang. Unknown caller. I knew, but I answered. "Miss me." Daniel's voice slithered through. I hung up. He knew where I was. The next day, an envelope slid under my door. No stamp. Inside, a photo of me pushing Sophie's stroller the day before. Then, a Polaroid of Michael's new girlfriend. A note. "She's pretty. Shame if something happened. My hands shook so hard I dropped Sophie's bottle. Glass shattered. She wailed my last shred of hope. I packed a trap in 10 minutes diapers, cached the gun I stole from Daniel. But when I opened the door, Mia stood there, tears streaming, a pistol aimed at my chest. "He'll hurt my mom if I don't bring you," she whispered. Headlights flared. Daniel's truck. 3 choices: shoot Mia, a kid, run with a screaming baby, impossible, or go with her and face him. I handed Sophie to Mia. "Take her to the police. Say you found her." I tucked the gun in my waistband. "Go." Then I walked toward the headlights. The reunion. Daniel leaned against his truck, smirking. "Took you long enough." Up close he was different. A new scar on his brow, Clara tattooed on his knuckles, that same hungry look. He reached for me. I drew the gun. "You don't own me anymore." A shot rang out. His laugh stopped. Blood bloomed across his chest. SWAT flooded the lot. Michael stood at the tree line, rifle smoking. The truth unraveled. Michael had tracked Daniel for months. The letters were fakes. Daniel never knew where I was until Mia spotted me, Michael's new girlfriend, an undercover cop. Now Daniel lay dead at my feet. His last words, "You're mine." Michael didn't hug me. He just nodded toward Sophie and Mia. "She's safe." Then he walked away. No goodbye, no forgiveness. A year later, Sophie calls Michael Dada. But alone, I trace the Clara tattoo on my finger where I held the gun that night and wonder if I'd pulled the trigger first, would I be free? Or just another monster? I thought Daniel's death was the end. Until the first letter in his handwriting arrived. The Safe House, Maine. A year after Daniel's death, we moved again. Michael helped not out of love but guilt. "You'll be safe here," he said, handing me keys to a small house in dense woods, few neighbors, an empty mailbox at the driveway's end. Until today. A cream envelope reeking of Daniel's cologne. Inside one line, "You didn't really think a bullet could kill me, did you?" My coffee mug shattered on the floor. Sophie, now toddling, reached for the paper. I snatched it away, spotting blood in the corner. I called Michael, panicked. He came with a detective. "Not him," Michael said, checking the letter. "Some news story fan." But the detective flipped the envelope. Tiny print, "Sophie's eyes are just like mine." No one knew that but Daniel. That first night I saw him, or thought I did, a shadow in the trees, tall, lean, that smirk. I blinked, gone. Morning brought footprints in the mud outside Sophie's window. The phone rang at 3:17 a.m. No caller ID. I answered, heart pounding. "You look beautiful in blue," he whispered. I was wearing a blue nightgown. I threw the phone across the room. Michael installed cameras. Cops staked out the woods. Nothing. Then one rainy night, Sophie's baby monitor played on its own, "You Are My Sunshine," the song Daniel sang to her in my womb. I screamed. Michael ran in. The truth unraveled again. Cameras caught nothing. But the detective found worse in the woods, a campsite, photos of Sophie and me from last month, a journal in Daniel's handwriting. Last entry, "Daddy's coming home, Sophie." We fled to a hotel, but he followed. I woke to a hand over my mouth, Daniel's breath hot on my neck. "Miss me." I elbowed him, grabbed the gun from the nightstand. Lights flared. Michael stood aiming at the man. "Not Daniel." The man smirked. "Your husband paid me to mess with you." Michael shook him. "Who?" The answer gutted me. "Your husband said you deserved to suffer for what you did." Michael's face paled. He hadn't sent anyone. Daniel was still out there. A month later, another letter, "Fun game. But don't worry. We'll play again when Sophie's 18. Attached a lock of black hair just like Sophie's. 15 years later, Sophie's nearly grown. Michael's gone car crash, they say. Me, I sleep with a gun under my pillow. Tonight, the baby mobile played on its own. Some stories don't end. They wait. I stopped believing in ghosts until the night I saw Daniel over Sophie's crib. The mobile creaked, a whisper in the dark, a mother's scream. That's how I learned some loves never die. Doctors call it grief psychosis. Sophie calls it nonsense. But on her 18th birthday, I saw him. Daniel leaning over her bed, fingers brushing her hair. I lunged, my hands passed through him. His laugh chilled my spine. Took you long enough to figure it out. Rules of the dead, he could move toys, photos, knives. Whisper to Sophie, Daddy's here. Drain a room's warmth. But he couldn't touch the living. He tethered to Sophie to hurt me. You're still mine, he hissed. I tried a medium. Big mistake. The plan spelled, Lily is mine. The board caught fire. Sophie sleepwalked, whispering. Daddy says, don't play with fire. Her eyes went black. A priest lasted 3 minutes. Daniel threw him through the bedroom wall. Think an old man in a skirt can take my daughter. The walls bled. Sophie laughed. Too late I realized he wasn't haunting us, he was possessing her. The medium gave me a choice, bind him to an object and destroy it. But Daniel whispered the truth. I'm tied to Sophie's soul. Kill me, you kill her. I sobbed. He smiled. Guess we're family forever. On Sophie's 18th birthday, the house shook. Mirrors shattered. Sophie's voice wasn't hers. She grabbed my throat with unnatural strength. You should have chosen me when you had the chance. He hissed through her. I did the only thing left. I plunged the ritual dagger into her chest. Sophie gasped. Daniel screamed. Her blood erased him as she died in my arms. Her last words, I'd have fought him if you'd just asked. Now I live in an asylum. They say I'm mad, but every night at 3:17 a.m. the lights flicker. The air turns cold, and 2 voices whisper, Mommy, wife. I smile. At least we're together. Thank you for listening, for seeing me as I am.